Hi guys, my name's Sean, I'm from Zirconite, and today we're going to be demonstrating Zirconite Nano Glaze. So Zirconite Nano Glaze, what is it? What does it actually do? So Zirconite Nano Glaze is a paint protection system, a warranted paint protection system for anything up to 2 years. So the Nano Glaze itself is a polymer Teflon and acrylic based sealant which contains UV screens. So as part of the kit, you get a pre-glaze, you get the sealant, you get an applicator pad and a microfiber cloth. But before we actually apply the coating, there's a number of things that we possibly need to do, and that's paint correction. So for paint correction, please see our preparation is key video before actually applying any coatings. So, Zirconite Nano Glaze. What we need to do initially is, obviously this vehicle has actually been pre-prepared. We degreased all the surface areas using the stage 1. And then we need to actually check to see what type of paint correction we actually need before applying the glaze. So let's do that. So if we come to the front of the vehicle, there's lots of swirl marks and there's holograms. So if we move it across from left to right, then we get a good idea as to what type of product we're going to need to actually do the paint correction. And again here, as you move from left to right, actually the problem gets a little bit worse, the scratches are a little bit heavier, and there's more hologramins to the finish. So if we move it onto the bonnet, you can see with the bonnet areas at the front, I don't know if you guys can pick that up, we've got lots of holograms in this at the front of the bonnet. Yeah, so we'll just work straight through the middle, move the light around, and what we're looking for, yes, as you can pick them up here, there's quite a lot of holograms in the finish, but very, very little scratching. So we could actually potentially get away with using the P40 with an orange foam to lift the light swirl marks before applying the glaze again with the black foam to lift the colour. So as we've just seen with the inspection lamp, the main issue is holograms. We've got some light swirling in there, but ultimately the issue is holograms. And for this particular problem, paint correction, we're going to use the Surface P40 Extra with a combination of 2 different foams. We're going to use it with a medium orange foam and a black foam to lift the gloss at the end of the process. So let's do it. Right guys, all that remains to be done now is obviously we're going to wipe this surface area down, degrease it, just to ensure that the pad and product combination is correct for this particular paint correction. So again, we'll obviously use the stage 1, the pre-glaze, just to degrease the surfaces to check to make sure that we've actually got rid of all the imperfections in the paintwork. So again, this particular product is solvent based, but it doesn't contain an aromatic solvent, so it's perfectly safe if you get it on any of the polycarbonate trims, headlights, number plates. So we'll just gently buff that off. See if you can come in and inspect the surface on that. We'll get a light in it just to make sure that we've done what we need it to do. Yeah, so as you can see, that's lifted the swirl marks and the holograms and left a nice gloss finish. And now we're ready, in this instance, to apply the stage 2. So what we're going to do now is we're going to carry on with the rest of the bonnet, degrease it, the same principle, same process, and if we're happy with that, then we can actually apply the product. Got it. There you've got it, guys. Now all that remains to be done is just wipe the surface, buff the surface areas, degrease, and hopefully we're good to go with the stage 2. So now we're good to go. Now we need to degrease the surface to make sure that the polishing job is where it needs to be. So all we've done is simply change to the Zirconite cloth just to remove the solvent residues, which is obviously going to then leave us with the finish, hopefully, that we actually wanted through the machining process. So what we'll do now, we've degreased off the bonnet, we'll just do a quick check on it, and if everything's okay, then we can actually continue degreasing, and then we're ready to apply the product. So if I move that around now, that looks like a nice finish on this paint correction. If you just follow me along, Ben, then you can actually see the remainder of this half of the bonnet. So we can carry on degreasing, and then we're ready to finish off with the Nano Glaze. So as you can see with the degrease of the stage 1, I've actually put plenty of product on there. What we actually want to do is degrease and remove any oils that the polishing compound might have left on there. And this is very important because whatever we get with this finish is going to be sealed in with the Nano Glaze. So I'll change the cloth, just remove the residues, and then we can re-inspect the surface. And if we're good, then we can apply the glaze. So we re-inspect with our lamp, and fingers crossed, we're good to go. Fantastic, glaze time. So, stage 2, wax applicator cloth. Just remember that this is a Teflon coating. So what we do is we put a nice line of products across the face of the applicator pad. And what we've got to imagine with this, because it's a sealant, we can't do the full panel. We've actually got to visually or mentally break the panel down into sections. So the way that I do it, I always start from the middle. Straight lines. I mark my area out, and then basically I just fill it in between. So when we apply it, we apply in straight lines, but more importantly, we actually apply it in a cross-hatch manner. This way, it ensures that, because obviously paintwork's got pores, we fill all the pores to obviously deliver the durability. First section done. So while that's flashing off, now we can reapply a little bit more product to the applicator pad. And we can carry on the process. So all we're doing now, we're prepping the second area prior to going back to buffing off the initial application. Food for thought, guys. Just remember, the more that we play with this product, the quicker we're going to accelerate the drying time, the curing time. So basically a couple of up and side by side motions should actually see the surface area covered. So now we'll go back now to remove the initial first application and then carry on buffing the rest of the bonnet. So again, as we've said, straight lines. Everything we do when we actually machine polishing, when we're applying product, is in straight lines. Yeah, very smooth, silky finish. Remember just to keep turning the cloth over. The first area is done, and now we can move on to the second area. Again, straight lines. Yeah, nice and gently remove the surface residue. As you can see now, it's starting to cure a little bit, starting to dry out. It's a little bit more stubborn to remove. So we remove the top layer of the residue, turn the cloth over, and then we just simply buff to a finish. Remember, straight lines. Very little pressure. Remember, the more pressure we apply, the more product we actually remove from the surface, which is obviously going to decrease the longevity of the coating. And we can carry on with the rest of the bonnet. It's very therapeutic. Very therapeutic. You can see it coming back to life now. And again, a slither across the face of the applicator pad. Back to the middle. As we said earlier, working in straight lines. Mark our working area out initially. And then basically we just fill it in the middle with product. Remember, cross hatch. So just remember, when you're actually applying, you can actually overlap. Just then make sure that we've actually got a nice, consistent coating all the way through the panel. You can actually feel the difference from what the coating was prior to all the preparation to where it's at now. Give it a couple of minutes to flash off, and then we can buff the surface. Straight lines. Nice and gently, just take the top layer of the residue off. As you can see, as we come into it, you've got a secondary residue underneath. I don't know if you guys can pick that up. And all we need to do is turn the cloth over and buff to a finish. If you actually pick it up on the cloth, you can see there's a secondary residue in there. Yeah, no need to use a lot of pressure at the moment, just take the initial top layer off. That's natural. Again, turn your cloth over and then buff to a finish. Nice and gently, just buff to a finish now. There you have it, Zirconite Nano Glaze. Polymer, Teflon and acrylic based coating with UV screening in there. Carries a warranty up to 2 years. If you want to extend that warranty, you can apply a top coat of the ZC booster, which will actually increase it from 2 years up to 6 years. Zirconite Nano Glaze.